right, very good. I want you to turn your book to page 279. Page 279. At the top where it says expanding with modifiers, we just spoke about modifiers, how the adjective modify what? What did the adjective modify?
Noun.
The noun, all right? So we're using modifiers. Modifiers are words and phrases that tell more about or modify the meaning of other words. Modifiers can make sentences stronger by adding important details. Notice how the modifiers change the following sentences, and it's simply just like the ones we did yesterday, where we said, what was the sentence you came up with yesterday? I actually see it. It said, we ran and saw
Deer running around.
Deer running around, all right? So we added we ran and saw deer running around. We added modifiers to that to make it stronger. Same thing. I watched the bus leave. How did they add modifiers to make the sentence a little stronger? It's stronger, but it's only a little stronger. What does the second one say?
I watched the last bus leave.
I watched the last bus leave. And the third sentence.
Gasping for breath, I watched the last bus leave from the parking lot.
Okay. What is the difference in the two? Actually, what's the difference in the three? What's the difference between the first one and the second sentence? So, Rita, what do you think is the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence?
The first and the second sentence. The first sentence it's okay, but the second sentence, it adds a little detail.
So it helps the reader not just know that the person watched a bus leave, but the last bus gives it a little more meaning, yes?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's ever caught the bus, but it's a terrible feeling to watch the very last bus leave. That means you gotta find another way to get to wherever you're going, all right? What's the difference between that sentence and the sentence following that one? Jessica?
The last one shows that that person was probably running and waiting for the bus, and it actually left. It adds more detail.
It adds a lot more detail. It helps the reader understand something that person is actually going through, yes? It's a big difference between saying, oh, I watched the last bus leave, and then coming and saying, gasping for breath, I watched the last bus leave from the parking lot. All right, so it's a lot more detail. It's a stronger sentence. These are the sentences we should write. That's why when you give me a sentence yesterday, like, we ran and saw, no, who gave me one yesterday says something about, it was a big, what was it?
Big brown.
I saw the big brown deer. All right, I think we can do a little better than the big brown deer, all right? One way is we're adding adjectives, all right? We're gonna try to have some more descriptive adjectives, right, that are more so on our level. All right, what we're gonna do is go over, I'm gonna let you and your group modify these few sentences, and then we're gonna modify our postcard and turn it into a short letter. The postcard we wrote yesterday, we're gonna make that into a short letter. But right now, I'm gonna give you a sheet of chart paper. Group one, this is what we'll do. Group one, you'll do sentence number 2 at the bottom. Group 2, you'll do sentence number 3. Group 4, you'll do sentence number, Group 3, you'll do sentence number 4. Group 4, you'll do sentence number 5. We'll do sentence number 1 together. All right, we'll do sentence number 1 together. All right. Somebody read sentence 1 for me, please.
The concert was held.
Well, you know I can't write it that fast.
The concert
The concert
was held
was held outdoors.
Yes.
The concert was held outdoors. I want to grow this sentence first with by adding adjectives. Just by adding adjectives. All right, just by adding adjectives. We're not going to add anything to the beginning, middle, or end right now. Just by adding adjectives. I want you to just discuss it with your group. what you think would be the best, some of the best adjectives to add to this sentence to help it grow a little. Think of your favorite group you want to see in that concert. And think of each question that the adjectives answer.
I think it's one card.
It's not a secret.
Yes.
The affectionate concert? I don't know if affectionate would be the best. I understand what you're going with, but I don't know about affectionate. All right, come on, I'm only gonna give you another minute and a half. You already ready? I just want to hear what it is. Okay. I'd actually like to do it in a different color marker. Thank you. Okay, no. You guys gave me it first, all right? All right, what'd you have?
The fantastic concert.
Go ahead.
Was held in
Can everybody see that?
yes. Was held in the beautiful outdoors.
You guys?
The long.
Along.
Mindless behavior.
Concert, right?
Yes. Was held.
I should have guessed. Was held.
Outdoors.
In the great outdoors?
Yes.
What'd you guys come up with? You have them?
Yeah. The noisy mindless behavior.
Say it one more time.
The noisy.
Go ahead. Oh, mindless behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody like a family, you guys? Except the boys, right?
Justin like him.
That's okay. You heard a new edition? Y'all heard a new edition? Yeah, Candy Girl, like, all the girls like them.
Yes.
I like them too, but I couldn't say I like them. So it's probably the same thing. I like them now because it shows now. The noisy mindless behavior. Speak up. Concert what?
That's it.
Was held outdoors.
Oh, was held outdoors.
1, 2, 3, and lastly.
The Reckless Black Eyed Peas concert. No.
The Reckless. Is it Black Eyed Peas?
Yes. Black Eyed Peas. Eyed.
Is it eyed with a, you sure? You sure?
I just said that.
The Reckless Black Eyed Peas concert.
Was held in the humid outdoors.
That's a little different from what you guys, well, no. I didn't get yours, that's what it was. Concert was held in the humid outdoors. All right. Okay, very good. I asked you to add adjectives to basically to modify the nouns in a sentence. The concert was held outdoors. First, you would have to know what the nouns were. I think, let me see, 1, 2, 3. Well, 3 out of the 4 actually modify the nouns. All right. Which sentence is one of the nouns not modified? Naija, which one? What do you think?
Group 2 sentence outdoors.
What does it say?
It says the noisy mindless behavior concert was held outdoors.
Yeah. The noisy, mindless behavior concert was held outdoors. The nouns here were what? I said the nouns were what? Concert. Outdoors. To grow that sentence, to build it, to make it a little more interesting, to give a little more information, add a little more detail to it, you should have modified both. Concert. I really don't know what kind of concert it was. And I know it was held outdoors. You know, I guess that's pretty cool. The concert was held outdoors. The fantastic concert was held in the beautiful outdoors. That's like, I get a whole different picture between this one and this one, yes? It's a little more, it gives a little more to the reader. The long mindless behavior concert was held in the great outdoors. Very good sentence. This makes me think they went a little too much. Like, you really didn't enjoy yourself that much. It was long. That's how I see it. I may be wrong. All right. The noisy mindless behavior concert, very good. It was noisy. Was held outdoors. Should have a little something about the outdoors, right? And lastly, the reckless, said it was reckless. I don't know what they did that was so reckless. I don't know. It's up to you to continue talking about. But the reckless Black Eyed Peas concert was held in the humid outdoors. Doesn't sound like these guys had a great time. All right, but all are very good. All are very good. Actually, that's good as well. But next time, you guys will definitely have to do what? Modify the other noun.
Okay, all right, just kidding.
Okay. Before fall break, we were talking about a short story that was entitled All Summer in a Day. Do you remember that? Well, we're going to discuss that today. We're going to talk about it. And after we do that, I'm going to give you a piece of informational text about a planet. And you can probably guess what planet it's going to be about because it's parallel to our story. And you're going to do a close read on that informational text, okay? We've talked about close reads before. Do you remember when we read The Bracelet and we had an informational text on Pearl Harbor, and you had to do a close read on that, which is different than just reading it normally, okay? So you're going to do a close read on the informational text on a Venus sky show, right? After you do your close read, we're going to discuss it. Then you're going to, I'm going to put you in groups, and you're going to work together to come up with the central theme and the central idea of both the short story as well as the informational text, okay? You're going to have to come to a consensus. Not only give me what you think the central idea is, but also using supporting details, okay? Details from the text to support what you think the central idea of your piece is, okay? Now, someone tell me some facts from All Summer in a Day. What are some facts that you remember from the story? Who can give me a fact? Ellie.
It was about a little girl who lived on Venus, and it had been raining for 7 years, and she was hoping that the sun would come out.
Okay, what is some more information? What is another fact from All Summer in a Day? Bria.
Another fact from All Summer in a Day was there was a girl named Margaret, and she used to live on Earth, but her family moved to Venus, and she told her classmates that the sun was going to come out every 7 years.
Okay, all right. What else? So I have Margaret. I have that it rains for 7 years and the sun's going to come out eventually. What are some other information, factual information from the text, Zach?
Her classmates walked her in the closet at the same time when the sun actually did come out, and she didn't get to see the sun.
She did not get to see the sun. Why would her classmates lock her in the closet? Blake.
They didn't believe her that he said that was the sun. She didn't believe her that the sun was going to come out.
Okay, they didn't believe her, so they took her and just threw her in a closet. What did the author say about the students' reaction after they put her in the closet? Okay? Ray Bradbury made it specific for us because he wanted us to know how those kids felt as they were walking away. Who remembers that part? Jake, do you remember that part?
Yeah.
What did the author say?
They felt bad because she was right and she wanted to see the sun.
Right, but I want to know what happens right after they walk away from the closet. Not after it ran, after the sun came out. They threw her in the closet and they walked away. What was their reaction?
The teacher came in the room and they all were silent.
Okay,
Pretended that Margaret wasn't gone.
okay, I'm looking for something else. Lydia?
Right when the sun came out, they all went out to play and they were kind of surprised that it came out.
Okay, I'm looking for something else. Do you remember, Sarah?
They forgot about her when she was in the closet.
They did forget about her. Do you remember the part where the author specifically says they were snickering and giggling?
They were feeling happy because they didn't have to deal with Margaret anymore.
They were feeling happy because they didn't have to deal with her anymore. What do you think about the whole incident of them putting her in the closet? Why? She said the sun was going to come out. Okay, we know that much. But why else? Dig deeper. Connor.
They probably thought she was crazy and they didn't believe her. And they wanted her to be punished, I guess.
Okay, they wanted to punish her because she was different, perhaps? Jeronica.
Well, I was thinking about it, and they did doubt her a lot because they didn't believe her, but she had already seen the sun, so maybe they were a little jealous and they didn't want to be wrong.
Perhaps jealousy, doubt, fear, okay? When things are different from us. When people say things that we don't believe, okay? Yes, sir.
Well, they kind of thought that she was the one. Well, she was a student that was kind of the oddball. Well, because she believed that the sun would come out, and they've never seen it, so they didn't believe her. So they're like, well, we're just gonna put you in a closet because you're weird.
We're just gonna put you in the closet and get rid of you because you're different, okay? Not such a good thing to do, huh? Now, how does the story end? How does Ray Bradbury conclude this story? Aiden.
He ends the story as they open the door. The people who locked Margaret in the door in the closet, they just let her out, and it says that she walks out, and that's when the story ends.
Why? Were you looking for something else? Were you wanting to turn the page and read something else? Why in the world would Ray Bradbury do that to you? Camo.
He wanted to make us think of an inference.
He wanted to make you infer, perhaps. What do you think happened next? Okay? Perhaps create your own ending to the story. Okay, does anybody know that word that he left you on? There's a word. At the end of the story, he left you what is called. Sarah.
In suspense.
In suspense. Something else. He left you hanging. Okay, you ever heard of cliffhangers in good movies that you watch? Okay, that's what he did. Okay, to kind of force your brain to make an inference, to keep the story going. Okay, now I want you to keep in mind everything that we've just talked about. Okay, because now I want you to shift your gears because you're going to read an article about, guess what planet? Venus. You're so smart. All right, now while you're reading this, I want you to annotate as you read, okay? What do I mean by annotate as you read?
guess you want us to like point out facts or stuff that we don't know and kind of circle it, and you want us to kind of think over what it's talking about or try to figure out what it's trying to say.
Very good. Very well said. Janelle, you have something to add?
You also like take your notes, things that you think may be important for you to know throughout the passage, and you're also writing down questions that you may have.
Very good. When you annotate as you do a close read, this is a skill that you will definitely use in your upper grades, high school, and especially college, okay? So as you read the text, if you come across a word that you're unfamiliar with, circle it, underline it, draw an arrow to it. Or if you come across a phrase that you're unfamiliar with, something that you think is very important, questions that you may have, you're going to annotate as you read. Now, this piece of text is front and back, okay? I want you to do a close read on this piece of text right now. Okay? You have any questions? All right, let's take a look at this. Now, the Venus Sky Show. Is this nonfiction or is this fiction?
This article is nonfiction
It is nonfiction. How do you know that?
because it provides information.
It provides information, okay? How else do you know if when you're reading something if it's nonfiction or if it's fiction? Connor. Exact quotes, okay. Dialogue, perhaps. Bria.
Well, maybe sometimes when you read a fiction story, there's usually about fairy tales and dragons and princesses, but when you read nonfiction, it really gives you more information and stuff. Nonfiction is really sometimes stuff that really happens in life.
There's one thing you can look at on here right away that will let you know this is nonfiction. What do you think that is, Nina?
Date.
Very good. Very good, Nina. Now let's look at just the first paragraph of this. Now this incident really occurred, as you found out as you read through this text. The rare event will be visible in the late afternoon on Tuesday in the Western Hemisphere, or Wednesday morning in the Eastern Hemisphere. Now this was written on June the 4th, 2012, okay? Now, in front of you, you have a half sheet of paper that has the different hemispheres on it. I want you to label that Western, Eastern, Northern, and Southern hemispheres. If you need help from your neighbor, you may ask them for help. I want you to label that for me right now. Now, Venus would have been visible, the transit of Venus would have been visible to us because we're in which hemisphere? We're where? The Western Hemisphere, okay? Now, go back to the text. It is a show you likely have never seen before and will never see again. It is called the Transit of Venus. Transit means to pass through or across. During Venus's upcoming transit, the planet will appear to be a little black dot drifting slowly across the face of the sun. It's a spectacle that won't happen again for another 105 years. Is there anyone in here that watched this phenomenon? One, two. Very good, okay? A lot of people didn't know about this, okay? It was very, very important, though, to some people, and especially scientists. The event is so unique that museums and schools around the world are holding Venus viewing parties for those who want to see the sun with a temporary beauty mark. Even astronauts aboard the International Space Station are planning to watch the event. Anything silhouetted on the sun looks interesting, says Anthony Cook, an an astronomer at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, California. Seeing Venus is extremely rare. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask, what does silhouetted mean?
What does silhouetted mean? What do you think silhouette means? Nina,
Silhouette means like a shadow or something.
does that help, Lydia? Very nice. Tell your peer thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, what I have sat on your desk are a few text-dependent questions. If you don't have a text-dependent question sheet, raise your hand and I'll give you one, okay? Now, what you're going to do, I'm going to put you in groups of 4, and everyone will get a chip. And these are not talking chips this time, okay? They serve as another purpose for us. The chip that you get will determine the job that you're going to do for your group, all right? But what I want you to do right now, before I put you in groups, I want you to draw a line under number 5, okay? Just straight across the page. Now, when you look at these text-dependent questions, why are they called text-dependent? Why are the questions called text-dependent, Sarah?
They're called text-dependent questions because you can find the answers in the text.
You find the answers in the text, not something that we think of. That's just a great idea, or something that sounds good as the answer. You go back to the text and find your information, okay? Now, you're going to be doing questions 1 through 5. What differences exist between the short story and the article? What is the central idea of the short story and the central idea of the article? What is the significance of this article? Why is it so significant? What does the author mean when he uses the words rare and observatory in this particular text? We've already identified the hemispheres, and if we had watched Venus transit the sun, which day would we have seen it? Okay? Now, you're going to get a chip. If you get a red chip, you're going to be the group leader. Okay? Now, the group leader has a very important job. Group leader, your job is to make sure that your group is on task. Make sure that the questions that are being answered, the information is coming from the text. Making sure that everyone's participating like they should, okay? Now, if you come to a question and your group member cannot answer it, or you can see that he or she is struggling, help them out, okay? That's okay. You can help them out.